yeah.
So how did you get roped into it? I mean, what made you kind of get on board on it?
The director came to me with a project, Ed Dark, and he said, I need a producer. I think you'd be great. You know, I know you've not produced film before, but, you know, I've not directed for film. This is going to be an adventure and it's going to be awesome. And I was like, no, I don't know. I'm not so sure. And then he came back and he was like, go on, I really think you should. And I was like, actually, I'm really quite excited about it. And I was like, yeah, brilliant. VistaVision, it's old school, IMAX, it's exciting, it's new, you know.
Okay, what were the core skills that you had that got you through this ridiculous job of producing on the most huge format? What was it that got you through it and actually kind of standing at the end of the day?
It's about having a good team of people around you, making sure that you have people to turn to when you don't know what you're doing. You know, it's like that alone is a skill to find the right people, if you see what I mean. For me, my executive producer, Stephen, oh my gosh, he was such a legend. I mean, really, any problems I had, anything that I didn't know what I was doing, turn to him, and you know, he would sit me down and say, right, okay, this is the way you go. We go through this route, and this route. And I'm like, oh yeah, no, that all makes sense now. So he was a star. But it's really sort of like skills that you can transpose for any other industry. I mean, it's just about planning and, you know, and organising. A lot of it is contacts as well. I mean, it helps that Ed and I have both worked on other films before, like major commercial ones. So we roped in a lot of favours, you know.
Right. Okay. And now, what normally happens on a low budget independent film, be it a feature or a short, is you, like you said, you surround yourself by all these great people, and you get through the shoot, and you know things go wrong, but you get through it, and then at the end of the shoot, everybody disappears, and they go, there you go, you finish it. You know, you maybe got you and an editor, and not only did you have that experience waiting for you, but you had this format. You know, it's like, how do you get that into your Avid or your Final Cut Pro and go? Tell us about the kind of the major points in post production where you went, oh okay,
my god, yeah, we had some beaties. I have to say, like, I don't think I would have touched this project had I realised how challenging the post would have been, and I'm so glad I didn't know, because it was an awesome experience. Basically, yeah, I just kind of thought that it would run like a normal film, but I've never gone through post before, so it was absolutely, completely new to me.
So it was pretty much a hybrid. Nobody had ever done it, really.
No, because the thing with Vista is that it complicates every single step of the post-production because it's shot film on its side. So when we sent it to Deluxe, who's, you know, this major film lab, they deal with, you know, all the massive ones out there that Technicolor don't deal with, you know. And we gave it to them, and they were like, right, okay, we need, you know, we're not sure how to process this. And then they ran it through, and they did everything, but they connected it together wrong. So because it shoots one shot over 2 frames, they joined it all up wrong. So it's like half a shot in one, you know, frame and another half in another. So it didn't make any sense. So when we took it to our next facility to get it scanned in, Ascent Media, they couldn't scan it, so we had to send it back, you know, back and forth. And so just like all these little complications everywhere, you know, Ascent, because the resolution on the actual film, the quality of it is so high, they had to do a really low scan because they couldn't technically do the level that it can reach. So they just did as a standard 2K. But there was, you know, debates about you know, the speed and the aspect ratios, because aspect ratios for VistaVision, IMAX, cinema, and DVD are all different. So you have to pick something and stick with it, which is a really hard decision to make, because how do you know, which is going to be your main one, which is going to be the best way to show it? Then we got it scanned at another company at the full resolution, 6K, which is huge. I mean, most films you see at the cinema are like 2K. If they're going to IMAX, they might bump it up to 4K, but never 6.
Right.
Which again causes problems once they'd scanned it, which took ages because of the amount of time it takes to go through each one. Then they took it over to get it graded, which again causes a whole world of pain, because the machines that they grade on are called baselights, but they only go up to 4K. So we called up the Baselight guys who, actually made the machines and said, will your machines be able to handle, 6K worth of footage in there? And they're like, yeah, that's exciting. We have no idea, but we think so. So we tried it, and we had kind of glitches and some problems and missing frames. So we had to get stuff rescanned back and forth, and that was a real nightmare.
Right.
I mean, we hit every, sort of block we could, I think. This
is all sounding very expensive, but before we get, James has got a problem.
You dropped Sam's levels
I'm going to drop Sam. I'm dropping you. This all sounds hugely expensive.
No, actually, we barely paid for anything composed.
Really?
Yeah, up until the print. The print was our major one, but everything we got.
Now, why would anybody give you all of that stuff for free?
Because we were shooting on the VistaVision for the IMAX.
Right.
And the more things we had, like the grading, we didn't pay for because we got Peter Doyle to grade our film. Peter Doyle graded Lord of the Rings films, and he's now doing all the Potter ones. And he agreed, because he actually hates short films. The sole reason he agreed to do it was because he wanted to see what the VistaVision was like upon the IMAX.
Right.
That's it, just interested him.
Right, so because you aspired so high,
yeah.
you basically moved out of that enormous pool of other filmmakers making short films, and you were no longer in that pool, you were in some other place.
Yeah, so we were getting, like major industry people to come on board and help us out, which was phenomenal. I mean, because he came on board, Prime Focus did our grading for free.
Yeah.
So we didn't pay a penny, and I mean, those guys put in a lot of hours, a lot of time and effort, to help us, because we had an awful lot of problems, with our EDL, because it was VistaVision and it wasn't standard format. We couldn't export it the same way. It's just every aspect.
Nightmare.